Hello, hello, lovely people. I am back with another podcast and I'm joined again by baby Ethan. The husband has gone back to France today. We've had quite a while together, actually, but I've not been recording new podcasts at that time. So you probably noticed that was happening. If you're a regular listener, which I'm hoping you are, and if you subscribe, which I'm hoping you do. Um, so and it's not just the podcast that has been quiet in recent weeks. I actually, and if you are on my email list, this is going to come as no surprise. I already shared it with you guys, or if you follow me on social media. But I actually decided to take some time for myself to change my mind about decisions that I'd made before I'd given birth to a baby. So my intention for today is to update you a little bit on what's been happening in a way that's going to help you, of course, and hopefully teach you a thing or two and just have a nice chat. And once again, I've made this available on video if you prefer it that way, because I want to be that example, like you guys have seen me share before, that, as working parents or whatever it is for you, we all have different pulls in our lives. We can't always pause everything and create the perfect conditions to show up. And that doesn't mean that we have to exclude ourselves from rooms, exclude ourselves from doing things. So here Ethan is with me. He might make some noises. He might not, to just be that example. And you can come and see the video and get the full reality of what we're dealing with. He does have a particularly cute outfit on today. So basically, to rewind, a few weeks ago, I was in Puerto Rico on vacation, which was really beautiful to everyone but me. And I found myself just being super negative in my own mind. Everything was a problem. With my husband, with my family, we all went all together. And I've been looking forward to it for so long, like first holiday, baby Ethan and the family. It's like the dream, really, something I've been looking forward to for so long. And that was not my reality when I was there. And it got to the point where my husband was like, you're being really negative. You really don't seem like yourself. And I was like, I know, I'm also living with it in my head. I can literally see it happening, but it's like, I can't stop it from happening. And I just felt terrible a lot. And we came back and it was waving in and out and so on. And it wasn't until my mum said to me at one point, like, do you think you might have some postpartum depression? It can happen not immediately afterwards, that I burst into tears and admitted what had been going on for a while, which was like, yes, there are things there that and at this point, I've not had a medical diagnosis. I have seen the doctor. I have taken some tests. I am getting some support, both through coaching and all the different ways. But at this point, I haven't. But it was just that release of like, oh, I think I told myself, well, I know I told myself that I was going to come back to work September, October. My husband was supposed to be finished pilot school and everything was going to be perfect. I was going to launch the 15-hour work week mastermind. And obviously my husband's school was taking longer, delays happen, things happen. And I never changed my plan. I literally was like, okay, cool, I'm a full-time mum, but let me also go back to work. And not just go back to work. My Time Hackers is easy, streamlined. It's, my favorite place to be on the internet. It's super fun. But I was like, let me launch this high-level mastermind that I've only launched once before. Let me go and do that again. And I knew that I needed some additional support. So I hired a brilliant copy coach and I have been working with different people, but I never thought to delay, which is so silly because, well, it's not silly. It's so obvious because this is literally my lesson of last year when I was pregnant, of prioritizing rest and prioritizing rest and taking care of myself. And then I think what happened last year was I'd sold one space, and then in a week we sold 12 when there were only 10 spaces. So after the rest, after listening to myself, after taking care of myself, of course, everything worked out better. And I was not doing that here. In fact, I even did some work while I was away on vacation. I said to my husband, while you're here, it's easier for me to do some work. Like, I really fell into it. And the reason I'm sharing this is I was having a conversation with my VA, who's also a time hacker. That's how I know her. And she was saying to me how she thought I never had to deal with any of this stuff anymore. And I live in some perfect fantasy land. I'm, ad-libbing here. But I just want to be real with you. I never want you guys to use me or what I share, what I teach as a way to put me on a pedestal and make me unhuman. I'm very human. I have a very human brain. And I just know that that's not a problem. Everything that I teach here can still apply. Same with my clients. They're all very human. I never require them to not be human. Being human is my favorite thing about you. If you're on my email list, you got that email this week. The fact that we are human is literally the most special part of us. So let yourself be human, let yourself be flawed, let yourself make mistakes and then repeat those mistakes and learn from them and then not learn from them. All of those good things. So I made the decision to quit. And I will say what I realized, I quit on the launch, and we were supposed to start in November. So we were supposed to have started this week, actually, as I'm recording this, which is November 17th, which is probably before you'll hear it. But we were supposed to start this week. And we are not. We are starting on the 11th of January now. And all the amazing copy that I created with my copy coach is still going to be coming out. But I'm just not available for it. I've just not been available for it the last few weeks. I've not been available for recording the podcast. And I wanted to just get on here and be super open about it so that you listening can know that it's possible to run a business and not push through when you don't feel well. I also had emails from people based off of what I was saying thank you for giving them permission to do what they wanted. And someone emailed me, she's 7 weeks postpartum and she wanted to do some work, and she felt like what she was getting from my emails gave her permission to trust herself as well. So whatever is right for you, and be willing to get it wrong and be kind to yourself through the process. That's what I wish for you. For me, it's absolutely a quit, a baby time. I wanted to enjoy the time with my husband before we went back to France, and we're probably going to go back to France for a few weeks. I wanted to just be present with what was going on with me. I also binged the whole series of the originals on Netflix, which is like 5 series. And what else did I do? Went on lots of nice walks, didn't we? Lots of lovely walks, lots of lazy mornings in bed. Like, I don't even know. I've recently started doing Sudoku more and the newspaper puzzles more. But really, what I've been doing or what I've not been doing is more important. Hello. And I've not been pushing through. I've not been making myself wrong for going against a decision that I made when I didn't have a single clue what it was going to be like to be a mum. When I didn't know that Giddy was going to be unfinished in his pilot school by the time I launched. And it really is, I laugh because I always get to be that lovely example that no matter how loose and how spacious and how comfortable and easeful your plans are, they still might not work out. We don't need to use plans as a way to punish our present self for our past self's decisions. And I'm going to be teaching and sharing more of my learning on this as I come back to the podcast. But I just really wanted to touch base today on being a quitter. And I will share that I am so convinced that my willingness to quit last year and this year, instead of push through those moments, is the exact reason why I will never quit on my business, right? Like the micro quits so that we don't create something unsustainable. So we don't create burnout. So we don't create something that we resent or any of that. Like the micro quit is like the anti-quit, if I think about it. I will also share the one thing that almost stopped me, because this may sound familiar to some of you. There was literally one word when I got down to it, like, why does this feel so uncomfortable? Why does this feel so wrong when I literally did it last year. And that was the exact thing that my brain was using against me. It was like, oh my God, here she goes again. Again, she's going to cancel again. And I will say, just to be fully transparent, I'd had 2 people request refunds, which like nothing was working, right? It's like, if you believe in the universe or whatever, everything, my VA required rest. And she spoke with me about it, and I coached her through it, and I was like, of course you want to rest. And even as I was coaching her, I was like, this sounds familiar. And there were so many signs there, and I ignored them because of this word again. And I was like, again, I'm going to quit again. I've not reached my goal, and I'm not waiting to reach my goal until I take time off. Again, I'm, prioritizing my health over my business. Again, I'm pulling back from something when I could really push through. And that's when suddenly my brain started to be like, wait a minute. Again, I'm living by what I teach. Again, I'm prioritizing my health isn't a bad thing. It's like literally what I wish we had more of in the world. Again, I'm resting instead of pushing through. Come on, that's one of my core values. And I really sat with like, oh, again, I get to be the example that I speak about. Again, I get to go first. Again, I get to face the discomfort and purge all the like shitty productivity mantras and way of being that I've been programmed to be. And again, I get to be who I want to be on purpose. So if you're on my socials, or if you didn't read the emails where I spoke about that more, I highly recommend it. You just go to @feministtimecoach and scroll, and you'll see my posts about this. So yes, again, I am delaying, and not by a week, not by 2 weeks, by months. Because my friends, my loves, what we want to be thinking about is not like, what's the minimum? Not like, how can I quickly rush back? But more like, what's the most luxurious thing that I can do? Again, it's all about sustainability and thinking about Vikki 1 year from now, 2 years from now, not just Vikki today, and not just my client. Like, obviously, you guys are probably like, it's obvious that the best thing for her clients is going to be for her to rest, recover, take care of herself, lead by example again. But at the time, I didn't necessarily think that at first. I was like, people are paid, people are expecting to be in, I'm letting people down, and all other kinds of bullshit. So just to let you know, my brain is also a brain. And like through this experience, I've got to learn even more. I've got to do things that I've never done before. I paid my VA to rest. I was like, we're delaying this. You are resting. I am resting. I get to pay you to do that. Please do it, because she was going through her own work, her own things, where everything with her life and her business and her family felt urgent. And I just, nothing is urgent. I said to her, if emails don't get sent, so what? Literally, my belief is, people already know that they want to be in this mastermind. They're going to come whether we send that email or not. So I know I'm going back and forth quite a lot with you on here, and maybe it's an indication for you of what's been going on in my brain. There has been a lot of like forgetting, and sometimes forgetting words mid-sentence, and definitely not feeling 100% in my brain. Maybe you notice it, maybe you don't. I didn't want it to stop me from showing up. I don't believe I have to be perfect for you to enjoy this podcast, hence Ethan being here as well. I don't think I have to be perfect for my clients to get results, and I've been coaching back in Time Hackers the last few weeks. I do massively believe in being open and being human and being vulnerable and being ourselves and being messy and being flawed, and that being the most special things about us. And so once again, I'm privileged to have been able to share that with you and share my brain with you. And I promise I can't wait to get back with you and podcasting regularly. And there is more and more coming. I feel better already for how I've taken care of myself in the last few weeks. And I want to be more transparent with you about what's been going on. But for now, I just really wanted to pop on. I miss you guys. And tell you and update you on me quitting and really me taking care of myself and really me being human just like you. So for any of you, I want you to think about, like, is there something that you are resisting quitting right now? And do you like your reasons? Where are you pushing through and why? The other thing I want you to think about is, like, where are you having the opportunity to do something again that maybe you think you should be over already. A lot of my clients say this. They're like, I've already got coached on this once. I'm like, so what? So what? You've been thinking that way or dealing with that way for so many times. There are plenty of times when I can coach them on one thing once and they get it and they change things. And there's plenty of times where they don't, and it doesn't matter. The next one I want to think about is obviously rest, and where are you resting, or where are you resisting rest? And the last thing, just to rehash, is about the point on luxury. And I think I shared this on a podcast recently, the first flight I did with Ethan when we went to France, our very first time that we thought would be our last, where I requested special assistance. And even though I only had like hand luggage and one baby and plenty of people that were doing it without assistance, but it just felt truly luxurious to me. And instead of asking myself, like, can I push through? I said to myself, how can I make this experience the best it could possibly be, the most luxurious? And that was to get all the help, even if that meant me walking to the plane. There were two guys. One of them was carrying Ethan, one of them was carrying the bags. I was carrying nothing. So what I did was I asked myself, what's the best thing I can do? What's the most luxurious? And I want you guys to apply that to you too. Whatever it might be, pick something. And instead of, asking what's the least I can do, ask what's the most luxurious experience that I could create for this. Whether it's recording your own podcast, whether it's taking your own bath, whether it's, cooking a meal or going for a walk or whatever it might be. Luxury is not about money. Luxury is definitely about time and about feelings, right? How can you create space and joy and pleasure in the moment? So that's what I want you to think about. It doesn't have to be expensive. This was literally free, right? But how could I support myself like in the best way? What would be truly luxurious here? So that's what I wanted to add today. And of course, in case you missed it, that means that applications for the 15-hour workweek mastermind are still open. We've not closed them. I will put the link in. And I did also offer all of the people that signed up a one-to-one call with me as a bonus, as a thank you for delaying 2 months. And because I just think it's going to be fun. So for anyone that signs up before the new year, you are going to get a one-to-one call with me. Now, I haven't offered one-to-one calls with me for a very long time. And I will tell you what it's going to be like. It's going to be like, what's it going to be like, Ethan? It's going to be like a hot, warm cup of cocoa with a rocket underneath it, because it's that delicious mix of comfort and pleasure and being seen and kindness, along with that rocket fuel of cutting through the weeds and the shit, and allowing you to soar. So take advantage of this opportunity. If you apply and then you get in and you get accepted, then you will get a link to my calendar. We'll have a one-on-one call before we kick off the mastermind. So it's just vikkilouise.com/15, but I'll leave the link in the show notes, so you can always email team@vikkilouise.com for any links anytime. And of course, we actually had a new time hacker join on Friday. And a few people have said to me about how I've not really spoken about time hackers so much because of the 15-hour work week. So let me tell you, my friends, join time hackers. Get inside that room. The conversations that we have there around time, around what's possible, around self-kindness, around rest, around hustle, around getting things done. Like, there is no other community on the planet where you speak about these things and only these things. There's nowhere else focused on time. And time, my loves, is the currency of your life. It's the most valuable thing ever. My childhood first celebrity crush, Aaron Carter, you may have seen, he passed away. And it just is that reminder. It's everywhere. The reminders that time is so precious. I want you to just know that you have spent it exactly how you wanted to, created what you wanted with it. And I want you to feel powerful with it, and not feel like it has power over you or feel powerless towards it. So that's my wish for you all. And you can just go to vickilouise.com/group. I love you all. Thank you for being in my community and for being part of this. Bye.